Okay. We don't get picks and bans apparently for this game, and the first part was cut off from the YouTube VOD. But we can still talk about team comps. Okay, 5.5 casted. First time I've seen it. So we'll see how it does. Not a great matchup into Ezreal. Gonna be hard to avoid that poke early. Double AD composition. Lots of poke. And this is really easy to fast push with. And this is going to push really hard too. Then Morgana in the top lane. So could be a lot of pressure here, especially that we have the Jinx solo. Depending on how things go. This is going to take a long time to scale. This top half. This is going to be pretty punishing early, but it's in a 2v1, so a lot of that advantage has been denied. Yeah, so let's see how this plays out. Whoa. Okay, this is why it's really difficult to deal with this situation in a lane swap, and why junglers solo starting on weak side can be really problematic. Now, we don't know exactly what the level 1 here is, so I don't know how this happened exactly. And maybe it's possible Gambit kind of pulled a fast one and surprised him with a lane swap, but super dangerous to try and jungle. I mean, Thresh can absolutely stop you, as we see, if he's all by himself. And now Diamond, who is at red and is level 2 with nearly full HP. Oh, they get the buff too. And force the recall. Okay, well, Gambit's in a really good position. They also have a freeze in top lane. And Elements don't have a freeze in bottom. And their jungler isn't here to dive. Okay, this is a very, very bad situation. Maybe they can dive this, though. Oh, they were so lucky Wicked didn't die there. Cabashar's standing on his pool, but he used his pool early. If he had used his pool like a second later, Wicked would have died for first blood. He didn't hold it long enough. Okay, well, Elements at least capitalized off that situation as best they could. But the TP is still up, and it's still pushing into the tower. Oh no, it's not pushing back the other way. Okay, so this is good for Elements. They actually caught a break right there a little bit. So Reckless and Krepo can freeze this if they want. Edward's there to help break the freeze. Push it forward. He's definitely there at the right time. Actually, could he have been there earlier? No, he was harassing it blue. That's fine. Cabashar just misplayed that. He could have traded 1 for 1, because that was a really risky dive from Elements. Reckless saved heal. That's... Maybe he could have healed Wicked out of that. Regardless, I'm surprised they used neither exhaust. Well, they didn't have to use exhaust because there was no damage coming in from Morgana. But maybe it would have been wise to use heal right there, because that was a really close call. But regardless, Elements makes the good play. And gets the kill. Diamond is just running amok, though. I wonder if he's going to hand this over to Ezreal. Because Ezreal being able to spam more Qs onto Kassadin could be really valuable early on. Yeah, I think he should give this to Ezreal, actually. Right now, hand that blue buff over to Ez. And then win that lane even harder. Because Ez has a chance to go get it. He's got the lane pushed up. And they have enough wards. There's nobody who's going to stop Ez from taking this. Because right there, if you get Ez blue buff, and then recall for tier, he can stack it really fast. And he should have enough for tier. He definitely has enough for tier, I would think. Diamond's playing so aggressively, though. Ooh. Good all-in from Elements in bottom. Problem is they don't have pressure. Or Elements doesn't have pressure anywhere right now. And Gambit, like, Diamond is just ruining them. So that first blood has been kind of negated by the fact that Diamond is just ravaging Shook's jungle. Okay, Gavin Shaw's gonna get Codex. Okay. There's the tier now. Couldn't quite get a kill on mid, even with all that poke. Oops. Man, Diamond's just putting so much pressure on the map right now. Shook is forced to respond to everything. And he keeps going. He's lost a lot of minions, the big minions as well, because of Diamond's counter jungling. And they can't stop Diamond here, really. Oh, well, they can if Jinx recalls. He didn't even have to flash. Oh. Morgana's wave clear is just really good too. And even though he gave up that first blood, he's kind of made up for it just in terms of his farming right now. Betsy playing this a bit aggressively. He doesn't have combat stats right now. And Froggen went back and bought Blasting Wand and has Ignite. So there's a chance right there. The issue is if Shook gets an angle on him, because look, they don't have any wards. Really. Well, they've got enough vision actually that Sejuani can't get around, because they'd see her walking here. You can't. It's going to be really hard to gank with Sejuani from here. And then they see this choke too. So I guess he's safe. But even the 1v1, if Froggen abuses it, he may be able to do something. But as long as the Scuttler's up, it's Diamond's pressure that's allowing Betsy to play this way. But it's good that he's playing it so far forward, I think. Yeah, Reckless and Crepo just couldn't abuse that 2v2 matchup either. And at rank 3, Morgana's Tormented Soil just kills caster minions in one spell, so they can't even really push very quickly. And now, with the Morgana ult, it's incredibly hard for them to all in. Notice too how Pinoy is actively pushing the top side. So they're trying to chip all the turrets right now. They're just playing a full pressure game where Diamond invades. This is really good. This is quite good by Gambit to do this, because Diamond has just complete autonomy in their jungle right now. And he keeps getting control over both crabs. So Shook can't gank. And Shook can't go in here either because he may die. He could try and steal, but everybody's going to collapse. Oh, the wave was reversing just at that time. That's unfortunate for Gambit. Looked like they had pressure, but there were just no minions there. Diamond gets the blue again. I guess he doesn't think that Ezreal needs a blue buff. What we're not seeing that really tells the story of this game right now is how much damage these turrets have. How much damage Elements' others have taken. Okay, so not so much, but they use this recall timing really well, and Sejuani just can't get into wave clear against two ranged champions. Oh, that's so much damage onto the tower for one wave. Diamond's playing this a lot like Svenskeren plays, actually. If you turn the nameplates off in this game, I would have thought this was SK playing. So Gambit just taking all of the buffs this time around. I just don't even know how strong Kassadin is anymore, even with the 5.5 buffs. But it just doesn't seem to be worth it, unless he can come back and make massive plays in the late game. Because how is he's going to have a really tough time farming if his tower goes down. Going to be really, really dangerous. That's a good dragon call from Elements. They have enough dashes, they can get out. At worst in that scenario, because they have Kassadin, Sejuani, and Lucian, maybe Janna dies right there. But if that's all you have to give up for a dragon, because there's no objective that I think Gambit could easily take, even if they killed Janna, that's probably a good call. Interesting. Interesting that they want to send Thresh into top now. I guess they figure that Kavashard has enough wave clear at the moment that he can just sit at turret, and maybe they can get one wave where Jinx actually is able to get a wave. Because that's the thing, Jinx only really needs one wave on a tower to be effective, especially considering Pinoy already went back and bought BF and Pickaxe, so one good wave and they can take out that turret. So Gambit's going to move, or Diamond's going to move up there too and try and poke him out. They need Wicked to leave right now. Man. Gambit's really snowballing this game well. They basically took the fact that Shook got pushed out early and turned it into pressure in all three lanes. That's really nicely done. Man, that's just taking both turrets at once. I mean, they have no wave clear. They have 3 melees. You know, support. Your range support. That's not going to help you, really. So what do you do against this? Oh my, is Frog just going to get killed? Wow. Frog doesn't even have Rod. See, because of what Froggen did, now they're going to lose even more turrets. Oh, he rift walked into True Shot Barrage. I mean, it looks good in theory, especially since Shook has ult, but the coordination is just slightly off, and Shook decides to go up instead of over to cut him off. Froggen just goes in too early. If Froggen had dodged this True Shot Barrage, because he still had Flash, so what could have happened is that if he had waited for Shook, even if Ezreal had Arcane Shifted, more than likely Sejuani would have hit him. And Betsy just gets out for free by flashing in the direction. It's good play by Betsy, but Froggen went in too fast. He doesn't even have Rod money yet. So he's already late on his Rod. There it is. Okay, he's about a minute late. It's not so bad. But look at this. This is such a strong composition for taking towers, because you have attack speed increases on Ezreal and Nidalee, which means this Jinx is just going to tear through turrets right now. Especially if Wicked gets hooked. Oh my. Look how fast they can push through a tier 2 at 14 minutes. That's ridiculous. The main issue that Elements has right now is that there's really, really good poke on Gambit and really good wave clear. Because even Morgana can poke, because she can just zone you off a turret with Tormented Soil with her W. And you have to dodge Thresh Spears. And if one person gets poked out and you can't... If Jinx can walk into auto range of that turret, between Essence Flux and the Nidalee heal, that Jinx is going to just mow down your towers. This is a cool comp, actually. It's risky, because if Gambit doesn't get a decisive advantage, Jinx's immobility could be really, really problematic against Kassadin, Maokai, and Sejuani. But they have such a big edge now. Yeah, I don't see how they're gonna... They have no sustain. Their sustain is basically 2 catalysts. So what are you going to do? You can't even push these waves. You basically just have to farm and hope that you can reach some sort of late game state. Oh my. Well, at least they got a tower in return for it. This is not the end of the world. And there's no dragon up either, so they can keep pushing into this Morgana. But I don't think they're going to be able to take another tower. Okay, they want to go mid. But there's no minion wave. I think Froggen should start splitting top. He should split in the Morgana lane, because Morgana won't have kill pressure on him. They need Lucian mid. And Kassadin in a side lane. Elements has control over top side. They can afford to give up another dragon, or a dragon rather. They got the first one, so they're totally fine. Okay, we try and make a play. So Wicked has no wards, and he knows Dragon's coming in 45, so he should assume that they're trying to deep ward the bottom side right now. He could have played that more carefully. And then Froggen, they should straight up give this up. Elements should four-man the mid lane and try and deal some damage to the turret as soon as the bottom lane moves. And then Cassidy should just be top pushing and trying to get farm. They don't need this dragon at all. And they have enough resources to defend the other towers. They should definitely not be 5-man walking into this jungle right now. They're leaving. Look how big this minion wave is. They can't contest this. They should know they need to scale. Ugh. This is a huge waste of time. They could have just left. They could have left Wicked down here, just trying to wave clear, send people to deal with the mid tower, because now they can't. They have no wave clear anymore. Just give this dragon up, 100%. Oh my god, and they can't leave Pinoy alone either. So finally, Cassidy goes top, but now he's going top when they have 2 towers to defend instead of a dragon that they had no chance of getting anyway. So now Pinoy gets 1 million free autos on the tower. Yep, 50% already. Yep, no way to defend. True shot barrage right over the top. Oh, good thing that see, here's the thing. Elements could already be here, and they could have dealt some damage to mid and forced Gambit to respond. Because because of what they did, they had a choice here. Basically, they could have given up that dragon and then forced Gambit to respond to them at one point in this game. But what they did instead was, by trying to fight at a dragon in a jungle full of Gambit's wards, they basically just allowed Gambit to take the dragon for free and then have to respond to Gambit's pressure. So Gambit got exactly what they wanted out of that situation. Precisely what they wanted. They didn't even lose a mid lane tower. They didn't lose anything. And now Cassidy is not going to have a free lane to push, so Cabochard can just go up there and clear it with W. Man, Elements just... they didn't do anything this game. Elements has been really clueless about their side waves. So Frog got some farm, but Cabochard is just going to pick up that wave right where it left off and take that too. Down 5 towers to 2 and 4k gold. Be interesting to see how Gambit plays this one out. Because after that last tier 2 goes down, it becomes a lot harder to close. Especially at 20 minutes, you kind of have to wait around for a Baron or something. Or get a lucky pick in their jungle if you have vision control. I like the fact that Diamond got an upgraded ward totem because he doesn't have sight stone. I think that's good. It's very smart. Oh my, that was a good ult. Let's look at that engage again. Okay, Frog is going to flash forward for that. Everybody else is following up. Wicked is going to go onto whom? I can actually see who he got onto right there. This binding is really important. If this binding doesn't go down, Froggen may have just killed all of them. Oh, he's going Ludens. So they all end up in the box. But then once their engage has been blown, they got nothing else. And they lose 2 members just through the poking that comes back in and the Jinx resets. Oh man, if Froggen had not been bound, that was a really good bind. But they just don't have that many items yet. There's just nothing they can do to stop how fast these turrets are killed without the wave clear. So now the question is, what does Gambit do now that all outers are down and inners are down and they don't have a dragon or a baron? And they're also not very tanky. So it could be really dangerous for them to do baron, because if they get caught with a Sedge ult in the baron pit, that would be a disaster. But there are no wards. So I guess they could just do baron for free. Okay. So the answer is there are no wards from elements, so they can just get whatever they want. Let's take a look at this. So here's the mistake. We have to go back from elements right here. Your elements. You know they have all of your turrets down. Dragon's not coming up for a few minutes. There's only one way that they can close this game right now, and that's to get Baron. You know they just all recalled after getting your turret, and you just came back up with full HP. You have to go get wards down. Shook has a pink ward and a sightstone, and he's doing wolves. See, right here, okay, let's pretend you're afraid of getting picked. Maybe there's still 1 or 2 people around here, right? Okay, well, you smite the wolf. You don't even have to finish wolves. You can just walk up and smite the wolf, see if the wolf smite spirit goes anywhere, and then go put a ward down. He knows 100% there's nobody there. Okay, now he sees them going to Baron. Wow. Also, it was a really bad recall timing from Froggen's recall got interrupted and Reckless went back to. Yeah, now they see it die with the scrying orb. But that's what you have to be thinking about in the game is like, you're at this point. If you can smite that wolf spirit, see that there's nobody there, and then immediately go pop a ward down, maybe that makes a difference in this game. Probably not because they're so far behind, but that's still what you want to do just to make sure they don't get it entirely for free. Because if you can catch them in the Baron pit with as much CC as they had and clog the entrance with Sejuani ult and Maokai ult, maybe you can come back. And at the very least, you give Wicked a chance to TP. It's a very squishy composition. They have a lot of CC with Box and Soul Shackles, though, so still hard. It's a good catch. Oh wow, they actually all lived. Except for Wicked. That's a good catch, but they had to use Sejuani ult to get it, to finish it off. I don't think Elements knows how to dictate the course of, like, the pace of a game. They just don't ever try and we've seen this a lot, but they don't try and seize control even when they have an opportunity. Because when we were talking about that dragon earlier, where maybe they could have put some pressure on top, you can give up that objective as long as you maintain control. Because that you have to keep your win conditions of your comp in mind, right? Because if you have all this crowd control and this tankiness and this late game threat in Kassadin, and you're playing against a pretty squishy composition, I mean, see, they're doing an okay job of fighting back even against a team that has this Baron. Sometimes it's worth to trade the objective for time, right? They could have traded it for time, or maybe for a tower, or something. But instead, they just let them take the dragon and then let them get more and more towers. They're going to get a drag now. That was a nice play to force back up the middle. But I feel like in this game, Elements they just reacted to everything that Gambit did early without ever trying to trade cross-map objectives or take any semblance of control back. And like I said, sometimes it's just worth it to give up an objective so you can force the enemy team to do something else, to defend at some point. Because otherwise the team that's ahead will just take more objectives, especially when you know Gambit can take your towers so damn quick. So now there's pretty much no way they can stop this. Because it's 25 minutes into the game. I mean, look at the power spike that Gambit is in right now. It's just absolutely massive. And this Kassadin is still trying to be relevant. Oh, they hooked Froggen. Elements is just sitting here waiting to die, getting poked. All Gambit has to do is just sit here until the super minions get there and keep poking, and eventually they'll win. Look at that damage, damn. Oh, wow. Cabashard's binds on Froggen have been really good this game. Props to him for that. That's actually made a massive difference. Well, they're just going to close right here. This is the thing, is they can kill those towers so fast. That's a cool comp from Gambit. I like that one.